You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode number 28. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I am going to talk about blowing your own horn. First of all, what do I mean when I say this? So this is an expression, this is an idiom, and the expression blow your own horn is used to describe someone who is talking about their own achievements. And oftentimes there's a negative connotation used with this phrase. And I want to share with you in this episode why it's not only okay as an entrepreneur for you to blow your own horn, but essential if you want to help people win. Now, a quick personal story about this. I used to resist the idea of sharing my own personal wins in my coaching business. I used to have a lot of fear around sharing the successes of my clients and also sharing the amount of money that I was making as a coach. I used to have a lot of fear around doing that because I thought that people would think that I was bragging or being arrogant if I was to share my wins. But I realized one day that I needed to try something new. I needed to start sharing myself. And I realized that I wasn't serving anyone by withholding my success. And one of the biggest breakthroughs I had was realizing that I had to stop keeping my success a secret because it didn't serve anyone to keep my successes a secret. And I want you all to think about that. Keeping your success a secret doesn't serve anyone. So after I realized this, I started to share the wins that my clients were having, the breakthroughs that they were having in their lives, the growth that my business was having. And what ended up happening is the opposite of what I originally thought, because I thought originally people were going to be turned off by me sharing my business accomplishments. But in fact, people were excited by it. They were inspired to hear about the wins. And in doing so, I opened up more pathways for people to start sending referrals to me. And when that happened, my business continued to grow. I continued to help more people and have a bigger impact. So there was a net positive result by me, quote, blowing my own horn. So here's the thing. When you are bragging just to brag, it's annoying, right? It's annoying when someone's just bragging because they're just bragging. But when you are sharing your wins and your successes and you're helping others succeed too, that is inspiring. And that is what you are doing as a coach when you share your own wins, when you share your clients' wins. It is inspiring because you are someone you're not just sharing it for the sake of sharing it. You're sharing it because you want to show people what's possible. You want to help other people succeed too. Now, this might not sound very complicated, but sometimes your brain might make it seem more complicated than it needs to be. You might have a part of your brain telling you that you're being arrogant for sharing your own wins. But there comes a point in entrepreneurship when you need to believe in yourself and also the value that you have to offer the world. I believe that as a CEO, you must blow your own horn more than you're probably comfortable doing currently in your life, and even when you probably are resisting doing it, right? And I also want you to consider that the more that you share your own wins, the more that you blow your own horn, that is an act of service. The more you do that, the more you are serving the people that you most care about, the people in this world that you can help. So the biggest reason why it is okay and also necessary to blow your own horn is because when you do that, you start building belief in yourself. You start seeing yourself as a successful person. You start to see yourself as a person who wins. And when you start having this belief in yourself, you open up the space for other people to also establish that belief in you. Now, if you don't believe in what you have to offer, if you don't believe in your own value, how can anyone else possibly believe in your value? So the very first step that you must take, and oftentimes a step that a lot of coaches miss, is they don't see themselves as a successful person or a person who's experienced wins. So what are some of the wins that you've experienced in your own life? One exercise that we have our coaches do in the academy is they have the opportunity to journal all of the wowable things about you, meaning all the things that are impressive, your accomplishments, your achievements, even just your own, doesn't have to just be external achievements. It could just be your way of showing up in life, personal attitudes that you have about yourself and about your reality that could be inspiring for other people. And you create as many things that come to mind, all of the wowable things about you. You channel this inner rock star that's always been there. And then you go blow your own horn. You tell people about it. And the more that you start doing that, the more you build belief in yourself and also open the space for people to start believing in you. And I think the most beautiful way that this comes full circle is that when you blow your own horn, you kind of give people permission to start blowing theirs as well and seeing that success is available to them. So I want you to imagine that you're at a party and someone brings meatloaf, which generally might not be the most exciting dish that someone brings. And I want you to think about if the person who arrived at the party with the meatloaf, you were kind of curious how it is. So you ask this person, well, how is the meatloaf? It looks interesting. I'm not really sure if I want to try it. And they said, well, I don't really know what it tastes like. I'm not really sure if it's so good. How tempted would you be to try it if the person who made it wasn't even sure if it was good and they hadn't even tried it yet? Versus someone saying, you know what? This meatloaf is amazing. I've tried it myself and I made it. It is great. You have got to give it a taste. How tempted would you be to try the meatloaf if someone had that kind of attitude about it? Now, is that person bragging? No. They're actually creating space for you to just dive in and enjoy. So there are many gifted coaches in this world right now that are withholding themselves because they're afraid they're going to come across as arrogant or bragging by sharing their wins, by blowing their own horn. But what if the next time you thought about sharing your own success, rather than see it as bragging, you saw it as inspiring? It's like what Marianne Williamson says, when you shine, you give other people permission to shine. And also, it's worth considering, if you're not going to blow your own horn, what's the alternative? Minimizing yourself so that you can feel humble? Here's the thing. Minimizing your contribution, minimizing your gifts, minimizing your wins is not humble. It's actually selfish. I know that could be a tough pill to swallow. Minimizing your contribution is not humble. It is selfish because it is withholding something that you know could really help someone. If you know that you could really help someone and you withhold yourself from letting them know, that is a selfish act. Humility does not mean withholding your gifts when you know that you can really support people. So if this is an episode that's really challenging you right now, I want you to allow this episode to be a turning point for you. I want it to be an invitation for you to stop playing small so other people can feel big. Let this episode be a turning point and an invitation for you to stop minimizing your contribution so other people can feel better about theirs. There is room for everyone on this planet to shine. Now, blowing your own horn does not mean shutting yourself off from learning. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop receiving feedback or stop hearing other people's ideas or thinking that you are above everyone else. That is not what it means to blow your own horn. It doesn't mean that you're also done growing. Blowing your own horn is about celebrating where you are and continuing to grow from there. Now, if you are someone who gets triggered or bothered when other people share their own personal wins or gifts, that could be a reflection of the part of you that is yearning to be expressed. So the frustration that you might have for someone else when they share their own personal wins, that could be a reflection of the frustration that you have really for yourself. Now, we have this concept that we teach our coaches about in the academy during their relationship coaching training. And the concept is called the mirror. And the mirror is the idea that what you reject in other people is really a reflection of what you are rejecting or withholding in yourself. So when we see other people in the world and we make these judgments about them, it's usually an indicator that there are parts of ourself that we are holding back. And that's the work that we've got to do. Once we can allow ourselves to be and to live freely expressing ourselves as we are, which means sharing your wins, that's when we could be at peace seeing other people do it as well. So where in your life can you share yourself more? What opportunity do you have to blow your own horn without feeling bad about it? Now, I want to transition this episode into something a little bit different than what I've usually done. I want to blow my own horn a little bit, so to speak, and I want to include a testimony from one of our graduates in the academy. Her name's Sarah, and my intention sharing this is to inspire those of you listening who are really curious about what actually happens on the inside of the academy, and you want to hear it from an actual student, since obviously I'm a bit biased as the founder. And we have many interested students reach out and they ask us if they could talk to some of our graduates and current students. And the answer is always no, because in addition to respecting their privacy and their contact information, they're also busy running their own successful coaching businesses. So what we do instead is we allow our graduates to contribute their own stories if they'd like, as a way for them to inspire the next generation of coaches that are looking to join. So this is going to be really great for you to hear one of our graduates' perspectives. And she lays out really what happens from beginning to end, from the moment she enrolled to the moment that she finished. Now, I did not pay Sarah to contribute this testimony. I do not pay any of our coaches to share their own personal stories. In fact, what happened one day is I woke up to an email from Sarah, and she said that she actually asked permission if she could make a video about her experience in the academy and post it online. And I said, sure, I'm more than happy for her to do that if she wants to. And then she shared with me the finished product, this video that she took the time to create. And I was so deeply moved by how she described her experience in the academy and how beautifully she laid out her own personal transformation. So here is Sarah's story on her experience being a graduate of Thriving Coach Academy. Sarah, we are so proud of you and are amazed at the growth you're having in your business. And thank you for inspiring others that are looking to really take the plunge and become coaches. So here it is. I hope you all enjoy Sarah's story, and I will see you in the next episode.
So how did I choose Thriving Coach Academy as my school? So I came across TCA, I think when I Googled it, it was on the first page, and I looked at a few different life coaching programs, and their website really stood out to me because it was different than the other coaching program websites that I saw. The other ones seemed a little generic, basic, with like stock images, whereas Thriving Coach Academy really got my attention because they had videos of real people, and I don't know, I just had a gut feeling to go with this program. The name Thriving Coach Academy also piqued my interest. Another aspect of TCA that really piqued my interest was that not only do they teach you how to be a life coach, but they also teach you the business side of having your own business as a life coach. And I didn't really see that in the other programs that I looked into. And so I decided to book an admissions call with TCA. They got back to me fairly quickly, and in the admissions call, they answered all of my questions. And so it basically came down to this decision. Am I going to choose to go all in into life coaching, or am I going to choose to wait and continue on what I have been doing? And let me just say that TCA has been the best investment I've ever made. So this decision for me of choosing to go to life coaching through TCA or to wait and not go that route, that was a really big decision for me. But ultimately it came down to, I knew I really wanted to follow this path of my dreams, to follow life coaching. Whereas I was already on a path to go to nursing school. I took all the prereqs. I was supposed to start nursing school next semester. And, nursing is a fantastic career choice. So it was really like, do I take this kind of big risk, or do I just continue on like the traditional path? And this was also a fairly large investment for me. I'm in my late 20s, and while I did save up some money, I wasn't working at the time, and so I was eating into my savings. And so I did have enough to pay out of pocket, but it was still, a large investment for myself. And so this was a big decision for me. But ultimately, and I'm so glad I decided to go this way, I realized, I had to at least try, because I knew I didn't want to continue on with my life not trying and always wondering if that was the right path for me. And because I did have such a deep desire to follow this path, I finally did ultimately decide to go with TCA, and I'm so glad that I did. Some of my fears going into this was, I did do a little bit of research, but I didn't do, a ton of research. And so there was this tiny bit of fear of, what if this is a scam? It is online. So that was like a tiny bit of fear. The investment was, risky for me. The fact that it's not a traditional job was risky. But ultimately, I just followed my gut, I followed my heart, and I decided to make the investment and enroll in TCA. So once I enrolled in TCA, they immediately send you these 3 books. Let me tell you, when I made the investment for TCA, I did not realize how much value I was going to get in return. Or rather, I was just so impressed with how much more value they just have in this program. So immediately they send out these 3 physical copy of books to you, to your home address, and there is so much knowledge in these books. One of the core values of TCA is to keep it simple. And I never realized how amazing that is until I was in this program, because everything is so thought out and intentional, especially in the books that they provide us. There is so much information, and everything is literally only there to help you. There's a purpose for every single word, and there's no like extra fluff in these books. There's no extra fluff in the program, which I really appreciate. In standard schools, you have to take, your general eds, and you have, a lot of information you might not even use in your actual career. And so in this program, literally every bit of information is there to help you. There's no extra stuff that you need to learn for no reason. That also helps in learning bigger concepts. For example, group coaching for myself, when I first heard of it, seemed really out of my reach, and I wasn't at that level yet. But the way they were teaching us, they follow their core value of keeping it simple, and it really makes it easier for us to learn the material. And so I just really appreciate how thought out the program is, and how literally every bit of it is so intentional, and it's there to help you. There is no extra stuff that you don't need. There is so much value in this program. I was seriously blown away with how much we get. And I want to say, while I've been in the program, Frank and his team have just added even more value into this program. They've added more videos into the website, so it's just growing in value as time goes on. So when I went into module 1, basically the first time we're all meeting online through video, they immediately give you opportunities to coach. And just personally, I get very nervous when I get put on the spot, and especially as someone who hasn't had any previous formal training, it was pretty nerve-wracking to go into this new space with strangers and to, practice these new skills. So I was extremely nervous the first several times I first started these video calls, but let me tell you, they provide such a safe and welcoming space. This is something that I find so valuable, and they create such an amazing container. I truly felt comfortable and safe, and if you do decide to go in this program, I'm sure you'll see how there will be students when they get coached and they might, experience some strong emotions. I know for myself, I actually broke down crying in one of the earlier sessions, and that was just so amazing because I felt safe enough to do that in front of these new people that I barely knew. But in the entire time that I've been in this program, literally everyone on Frank's team, as well as the students, they have all been so supportive. They're all so caring, and you can tell the way they set this program and the way they show up to all the calls that everyone really wants you to succeed. Something else that I had really appreciated is that Frank and everyone on his team that I've experienced, they really have this amazing way of making you feel seen and heard. So not only are you in this safe space, but you're seen, heard, and acknowledged. And that brings me to another topic I want to bring up, and that is literally every single person on Frank's team for every single call, they are so present. And going through public school or really any school, college, most times you'll come across a teacher who really, maybe they're just not really interested in teaching, or maybe they're not very knowledgeable in that subject. But let me tell you, every single instructor in this program, they are just so focused on you. They are so focused on the class they're teaching, on the coaching calls. Like, you can tell they're never distracted, and they're just focused on us, the students. And to have that level of attention is just amazing in itself. I really don't have anything negative to say about this program. Something else that I really love about coaching is that Frank and his team have this fabulous way of stretching us in a loving and supportive way. So they're not like coddling us in any way, but they challenge us to be better, and they see the best in us, and so they set the bar high, and they give us the space and the support to grow. But like I said earlier, this is literally the best purchase I have ever made. If you're interested in getting your certification as a life coach, or if you're even just interested in improving your communication skills, I highly, highly suggest Thriving Coach Academy. This was a huge decision for me to go this route, but it has also been the very best decision I've ever made for myself. But if you're on the fence of whether to go with TCA or to go another route, I highly recommend TCA. You definitely will not regret it. I don't think I've ever been in a program with this much value in it. There's plenty of time to ask questions, and they always answer your questions. You're always heard, you're always seen, and you have the freedom and the safe space to practice these new skills and to grow. You also get to connect with other coaches, other students, And it's really just an amazing space to be in. And I'm so grateful that there even is this program. I'm grateful that we have access to this. I'm grateful that Frank created this whole space. I would just like to thank everyone that's been a part of TCA because it's been such a beautiful experience for me, and I have so enjoyed my time in TCA. I appreciate all the thought that has gone into this program. I love how TCA keeps it simple, and so literally every bit of information you get is so powerful and so intentional. I am so excited I got certified as a life coach through TCA, and it was because of TCA that I was able to do that. And now when I look at my future, I just see endless possibilities. And even though I have gotten my certification, they still provide support for you. So needless to say, TCA has been an amazing decision for me, and if you're on the fence, I highly encourage you to just go for it because TCA has been amazing and you're really going to get so much out of it. And I'm so grateful that there is a program like TCA out there for us. So thank you, Frank and Frank's team, for everything. I so appreciate the time and attention you guys all dedicate to the students. And I really just had such an incredible time in the program. So thank you all so much.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coach's secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.